For decades, the entire fight against Alzheimer's has been focused on one single place, the brain. But what if the key to saving our minds lies somewhere completely different? Today, we are digging into a radical new idea, a fascinating piece of research that suggests the path to a healthy brain might just start in our gut.
So let's just start with that question for a second. The search for a cure has been zeroed in on the brain for, well, forever. But imagine trying to solve a crime by only looking at the final scene while totally ignoring crucial clues that are miles away. This new research is basically saying, hey, maybe we've been looking in the wrong place this whole time.
All right, let's dive in. Alzheimer's disease, it has been this devastating, frustrating, cold case that has stumped some of the best scientists for decades. I mean, despite billions and billions of dollars in research, we still have no therapies that can prevent or even effectively treat it.
And the scale of this problem is it's staggering. We're talking about over 50 million people around the world suffering from dementia, with Alzheimer's being the #1 cause. This isn't just a medical issue, it's a global crisis that demands fresh, totally out-of-the-box ideas. Now, this is where the thinking really starts to shift. After all those years of focusing on the main crime scene, the brain, and going after the usual suspects like amyloid plaques, the results have been, let's be honest, pretty disappointing. So the investigators, the scientists, they're now looking for fresh clues in some pretty unexpected places in the body.
And this is where the whole investigation just takes a hard turn. The evidence is now pointing to two systems you probably wouldn't expect: our gut and, believe it or not, the system that regulates our blood pressure.
Okay, so clue #1, the gut microbiome. For a long time, people called it the forgotten organ, but now we know these trillions of microbes in our gut are absolutely critical. There's literally a two-way superhighway of information flowing between our gut and our brain. And here's the kicker. Studies keep showing that in Alzheimer's patients, this whole microbial community is out of whack, a state called dysbiosis, where the bad bacteria can really start to take over.
Clue #2 comes from something called the Renin-Angiotensin system, or just RAS for short. Now, you can think of it as your body's internal plumber. It's what keeps your blood pressure in check. But here's the twist. It's not just about blood vessels. This system has little outposts all over the body, including in our gut and, most importantly, in our brain, where it can either be a protector of our neurons or a major source of damage.
And this is the crucial point. The RAS has two completely opposite sides. It's like a good guy versus a bad guy scenario. The harmful side, driven by a molecule called Angiotensin II, is the villain. It causes inflammation and squeezes our blood vessels. But the good side, the beneficial axis, is driven by a molecule called Angiotensin 1,7. It does the exact opposite. It's protective for our neurons, and it helps keep blood flowing freely. Angiotensin 1,7 is the hero molecule we want more of.
So if we want more of the good guy, angiotensin 1 to 7, how do we actually get it where it needs to go? Well, this is where the science gets incredibly clever. Researchers have basically designed a tiny, living super sleuth to crack the case. You know, the researchers themselves really lay it out perfectly. They basically said, okay, we think we need something that can target both of these problems at the same time, the messed up gut microbiome and the out-of-balance renin-angiotensin system.
And here it is, a genetically modified probiotic, or GMP. The whole idea is to take a safe, helpful probiotic and re-engineer it to become a tiny, living factory, like a microscopic delivery drone that produces and releases our hero molecule, angiotensin 1,7, right there inside the gut.
And the elegance of this approach is just brilliant. First, they pick a really well-known, totally safe probiotic called lactobacillus paracasei. Second, they tweak its genetics so it knows how to make angiotensin 1 to 7. Third, because it's a tough little probiotic, you can just take it by mouth and it survives that crazy journey through the stomach. And finally, it sets up shop in your intestines and starts pumping out the good stuff right where it can make a difference.
So this little engineered hero is not a one-trick pony. It actually launches this coordinated four-pronged attack on the problems we see in Alzheimer's disease. Let's break down exactly how it works.
First off, it goes to work on your vascular health. The angiotensin 1,7 that the probiotic makes gets into your bloodstream. Once it's there, it tells your blood vessels to relax, fighting back against that harmful squeezing effect from the bad guy side of the RAS. And that is so critical because we know that poor blood flow to the brain is a huge problem in Alzheimer's.
Second, it actually repairs the gut itself. You have to remember, the delivery drone is a beneficial probiotic, so just by setting up camp, it helps bring a healthy balance back to your gut's ecosystem. This makes the gut wall stronger, which cuts down on leakiness and helps calm down that chronic, body-wide inflammation that is so damaging to the brain.
Third, and this is just fascinating, it helps balance your brain chemistry. See, the gut plays a huge role in processing an amino acid called tryptophan. And why does that matter? Because tryptophan is the raw material your body uses to make serotonin. You know, that super important neurotransmitter for mood and thinking. By healing the gut, this probiotic is helping to make sure the brain gets all the building blocks it needs.
And finally, number 4, it helps fix the body's metabolism. The research points out that a whopping 80% of Alzheimer's patients have issues like insulin resistance. It turns out that both our hero molecule, Angiotensin 1,7, and the lactobacillus probiotic itself have been shown to improve how our bodies handle sugar, directly addressing the energy crisis that happens in the aging brain.
So, what's the big takeaway here? Well, let's be super clear. This is really promising research, but it's not a proven cure in humans. Not yet. But what it represents is a radical and honestly super exciting new way of thinking about how we protect our brains.
The most important thing to grasp is the huge paradigm shift this represents. Instead of trying to bash down the door and directly fix a problem in the super complex, heavily guarded environment of the brain, this approach says, hey, maybe we can make a massive difference by healing the gut and rebalancing other systems that are talking to the brain all the time.
And this leaves us with a truly provocative thought, right? As we learn more and more about these intricate connections between all of our body's systems, could we actually harness and even engineer the trillions of microbes that live inside us to become a frontline strategy for not just treating, but maybe even preventing the most devastating diseases of the mind? It's a future that's starting to feel a lot less like science fiction